Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my TI recap. We're in day number 3, where we had 3 teams we have to say goodbye to, and 3 teams who move up to the bracket stage. And with that, we set up everything for the final day tomorrow. So let's get into it. So we start up with the first loser leaves TI match. It was between Huligani and OG, where Huligani, unfortunately for them, as expected, lost out. So they go home with it 1-2 loss there. And OG do get their survival, so they get another chance later on. Then we have the matchup from one team we expected to be here and one team we didn't expect to be here. So we have Yandex versus the team Resistance. And that's a bit of a surprise, to be honest, that Yandex is down here. Yandex survived themselves through this matchup with a 2-1 victory, but they look shaky as hell, and Team Resistance is showing up a bit more, but Vision's lost in the first round from the first map. I mean, looks like it was just a stumble from Vision at this point, to be honest. Here's one part that hits me pretty hard. We have, next up, LGD versus XG, and actually lose that one off, fall to the 1 and 3 bracket. So next matchup they have is for their survival, and we'll talk about that a bit later. Matchup we weren't expecting to see in this bracket, to be honest: Falcons versus Gamer Legion. And Gamer Legion climb out of their 1-2 fall, go up to the 2-2 bracket, and they don't look really good. But on the same time, it feels like Falcons had a bit of a rough run, to be honest, with Vision and Iron Wings coming around there. Put them down pretty far, but they did get the win there. Didn't look completely clean how they played that one out, and especially one thing that Falcons have to keep an eye out for: their Enchantress is not working. First it was banned out, and now teams are letting them have it, and it's at 1 and 4 right now, so we gotta keep an eye out for that one. Next up in my recap, of course, I have to admit something else I was wrong about. We have Nigma versus VG. I had Enigma, not Enigma, Nigma completely wrong. I am wondering about them at this point because they 2-0 VG Gaming, and right now their path has not looked strong, but they are now at the 3-1 spot, so they do have an opportunity to qualify for the bracket stage with the next round. And gotta say, doing work. The next matchup we do talk about is the Boom Boys versus Aurora, and Aurora is keeping up, exceeding my expectations. I mean, the first win versus Gamer Legion was to be expected, but then Yandex and Boom Boys being taken down by Aurora, especially with the 2-0, gives them a 3-1, so they have a chance for the qualification into the bracket next round. And Boom Boys being their biggest scalp to take yet after Yandex has been falling down, Boom Boys do have to catch themselves up, otherwise it could get really rough for them now. Next up is Team Liquid versus Iron Wings. Liquid recover after losing to Spirit, but they did go one down, so they had to really dig deep, beat out Iron Wings then with that one, and they're moving towards the spot I would say around the Vision spot Falcons had, because Falcons kind of disappointed with that one. Next up, we have, in my eyes, it was an expected heavyweight clash. It didn't work out that way, to be honest, because Vision just put Spirit down 2-0 and gave themselves immediately the qualification for the bracket stage. The team that goes 4-0 is Vision. So congratulations to them. They get to watch tomorrow the teams cannibalize each other, and got the round 5 today off as well. So we'll see how they go about it. And some teams have had good times after taking a break. Some teams had a long break and they fell apart after that. So it's going to be very interesting how that one develops, if the 3-4 day sweet spot is there, or if they would rather have played on. But we'll see how it goes, because every team has the 3-day break who make it to the bracket stage, but the fourth day is now off for Vision. And with that, we roll into round number 5. We had the first matchup, which is another match where both teams are fighting for survival. We have Gamer Legion versus OG. OG's second life runs out in this game. Gamer Legion do show a dominant performance, take out OG, and I feel like at this point, I wrote in my notes, a lot of teams might be happy to pick up Gamer Legion for their elimination match because Gamer Legion is now in there. After that, we had the cannibalization of the Chinese teams under each other. We had Team Resistance versus XG. And I have to be honest about this one. My team lost. I was rooting for XG there. I kind of like them how they did last year in the TI in Hamburg here, but no, they didn't do well here. They lost out 2-0. Looked really off, to be honest, so that's something to say. And here are not looking great. They're 2 and 3, which means they are in the elimination bracket. But one other thing you have to point out, they're 7 and 6, so they got some points to go about it right now. And I don't know who would love to pick them up for this bracket stage, so we'll have to see how it goes. After China took the first L in this round, I mean, they did take a W as well, but I think they would have rather had both teams get through there than having one of them go down. We have LGD versus Vici Gaming, and LGD get to a good spot. They get to the 3-2 spot after beating Vici Gaming in this one. However, what I do want to point out, though, is Vici still trust the carry IO, which is very interesting, I feel like, right now. That's something that we gotta keep an eye out for. The Chinese trust the carry IO a bit. Pure is a good carry IO player for the Iron Wings team, where I'm still kind of wondering why they're doing it, but it works out for them. And, well, that's a win for them, and we gotta see how it goes further for both teams to kind of set themselves apart. A further match here, which was going for honor and pride, to be honest, is Falcons versus Boom Boys. And Falcons and Boom Boys had a very interesting point about this one. Both teams were slipping after running into Vision, or Team Vision rather, and were slipping down quite a bit. So they had to face off against each other, and Boom Boys continue sliding down here, and they are now at the 2-3 spot after starting 2-0, and now we're going to be in a very interesting slot how this one goes about, and I'm just not too sure how they feel about this one. We'll have to see how it goes right now. And yeah, that's a bit of a thing about it. And I would say right now, the stock of Boom Boys are sliding, and another team has been sliding as well, pretty much, which we will talk about next. And that next team is Yandex. Yandex faced off versus Iron Wings, trying to show what they can do right now. And it didn't really work out, to be honest, for Yandex. They looked pretty lost in between, weirdly enough. I mean, Iron Wings pulled some crazy stuff out. We had, in between, we had Pure on the Kez in the mid lane. They pulled out the carry IU. BZM went to the safe lane for a matchup. I mean, it was against the Centaur, so it makes sense that the Lina kind of moves out of there. We had 33 proxy farming on an Air Spirit, so it was kind of very weird. And as I said already, Pure once again pulled out the carry Aya, which won the game. So a bit of an interesting point. I gotta say, Yandex, we gotta keep them in mind right now. They're not looking good. And with that, they are one of the teams that get picked rather than not picking, because the winner of this matchup got to 3-2 and the loser went to 2-3. And now we're saving, of course, the 3-1 matchups for last. We're going to go over the first one, which is Liquid versus Aurora. It was a pretty good game. It was a pretty nice back and forth. Both teams showed that they definitely wanted that bye, but unfortunately for Aurora, Liquid did it. But Aurora put up a good fight. They targeted Nisha pretty hard there, which is a bit of a surprise. To be honest, that Nisha gets targeted that hard. I mean, they pulled that out as well, and otherwise, I would say even Ace had a bit of an off game one game, but third game Ace was on point. And I mean, I'm one of the people who've been saying a lot that I feel like the Boxy Ace off lane is not working that well. But Ace had an ultra kill in that third game, which propelled Liquid's comeback even out of that one. So really well done for this Liquid team. And I gotta say, well done. Liquid qualify for the bracket stage with that win. And Aurora do have to pick a team who they want to play against, and we'll see about that later on. I'll talk about them. And last but not least, I gotta be honest once again, we had the Nigma versus Spirit matchup, and I am honest about that one. I was a big doubter of Nigma before the tournament. I was like, okay, it's nice that they're here. They could give Samil a bit of a last dance, but I see their floor as being pretty low. I did say I think they were a boom of bust candidate for me, and I would say well done by Nigma Gaming. Or Nigma Galaxy is what they're called, right? Yeah, Nigma Galaxy. Well done by them. They got out this one. Kuroki, some mail. I wasn't aware of your game. And you guys showed up. You beat Spirit convincingly 2-0. The long games, which I normally would say would be very Spirit favorite. Didn't work out of that one. And I was surprised about the interview afterward where Samael said, well, we do know that we had a pretty easy path till the till the last game. So it's understandable to doubt us, but I gotta say, I can't doubt them anymore. In the bracket stage, I would say they could beat anybody. Maybe, okay, I will give one caveat. Vision is, for me, still higher above than anybody else, but that's the thing about that one. But now we're going to head over to the brackets that have been developed out of this elimination match. So let's go shortly over the matches we have tomorrow with the elimination bracket going on here. We got Team Spirit, who picked out Team Resilience. Makes a bit of sense, but it could backfire immensely. I mean, Spirit do want to prove that they can do it. I'm surprised they didn't pick out Gamer Legion, but I think that was a safe bet for them because if I remember correctly, the last time they picked the lowest seed, they got knocked out. So it's a bit of a scare tactic from them that they rather take one of the lower rated teams than just pick up the lowest rated team. Makes a bit of sense, gotta be honest with that one. We got Iron Wings, who picked then Gamer Legion as the second team. Makes a lot of sense, to be honest. Iron Wings do have a good statement about that one, and Gamer Legion, they are one of the more desirable teams to be picked up here, so very interesting how that one develops, and if NA Dota can sustain themselves longer than Chinese Dota. Which we do have a part about the next matchup, which is Falcons versus VG Gaming. Falcons picked out VG Gaming, makes quite a bit of sense. They want to get some revenge after what happened in the EWC, so reasonable take there, and we'll see how that one goes. VG do have something about that one. Falcons did get them in the Essence tournament pretty hard. That's one of the games where I was like, how did VG pull off that run in EWC after watching the Falcons game? I think one game went about like 11 minutes, so yeah, VG have some coming back to do. We then have Aurora versus the Boom Boys. Which, if you told me that at the start of the tournament, I would be like, okay, this is some kind of group stage game, and we'll see what happens about it. But now we have this point of both trajectories looking in different directions. Aurora had a great run that they went up to Liquid in the qualifying match, but didn't go through. Boom Boys had a trio match versus Vision to show who's the strongest in the group, went down to that one, and since then have not really picked up another series, so keep an eye for that one. And then at the last game, which is going to be LGD versus Yandex. If you told me at the start of the tournament Yandex would be in this spot, I would have looked at you as like, were you insane? However, it happened. And honestly, LGD, I'm a bit surprised that they're here because I thought they would be here, but still, with 4 days before the tournament, losing your mid laner to some shady stuff, it is quite a bit of a surprise. And I would honestly say, right now, I would probably suggest Spirit go through, Iron Wings go through. I gotta rep a bit of China, so I'm gonna give Vichy the spot for that one. Even though I do think Falcons could probably win that one, but that's a heart over head moment here. I would say Aurora keep up their statement, and Yandex versus LGD, for me, it's a bit of a toss-up. LGD looked better lately in the last few games, and Yandex looked completely out of sorts the last match they played, so I'll give Thompson the bracket, so that's gonna be that, and we'll be back next time with a prediction about the bracket, which is gonna happen, and then we probably know what the bracket's gonna look like. So keep that in mind for the next few days. So tomorrow we'll still have a recap. Once again, we recap all the matches, maybe a bit more than we do normally because, well, we got a bit of time on our hands there. And otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.